Hello again, it's Clockwork McGrim, continuing my Quasar painting. I forgot to record a portion of this, several portions of the next painting set. Sorry. Sick brain is not the best at turning a camera on and off, you know. When you're all congested and nasty and you're just not thinking at full capacity. Luckily I'm finally better. I held off on doing any narrations until I sounded halfway decent. So what to talk about? I guess a comment I got recently was, why do you draw noses like that? Very innocent question. I didn't take offense. I thought it's a question I've been waiting to be asked, let's say. And yeah, I mean, I made a very conscious choice sometime after that anatomy class that I've probably mentioned. And if I haven't, I took this anatomy class and it changed a lot of my ideas about art. Where I just noticed that not everyone has those small, photoshopped, perfect noses. You know, like, not everyone has had a nose job to get their nose resculpted to some perfect standard that may or may not be attainable. And I just thought I'd stop drawing noses in said unattainable way. Because as a kid, I always felt really self-conscious about the way my nose was shaped, because it didn't look like the people in the magazines, you know? Like, I didn't even look at magazines that much, but I felt this pressure that somehow I had just been wrong on a structural level. And, you know, like, quite a ways down the road now, I'm a little bit over that, but I still remember that feeling quite vividly, that I had to look a certain way, and because I didn't, I wasn't good. Not even good enough, but I just wasn't good. And, you know, I don't want that to be an overarching thing in my art, is things that made me uncomfortable. And so when I realized I was drawing all these hyper-perfected people, which I used to a long time ago, like, it felt wrong to perpetuate the thing that had messed up my self-image. Because if it messed up my self-image, it probably messed up somebody else's too. I mean, no one lives in a vacuum. We're not all having too vastly different of an experience, you know? It's always going to be someone that calls you big nose or tells you that you look funny, and there's always someone who's going to do that, regardless of where you are, who you are. At some point in your life, it's probably happened, and if it hasn't yet, it probably will. And so I just realized that I never saw a lot of, like, pop culture characters in art that looked like me. And it was mostly the noses. Everyone had these little photoshopped, shrunken down noses. And so after this anatomy class I took, I was looking at the way people are shaped a little more critically than I had as a kid, and I realized, you know, it's not fair to draw everyone like they're photoshopped. And it's not fair, but it's also super duper boring. It's good to draw those, like, perfected people when you're trying to figure out how to even draw a person. But once you're past that point and you know how to do it, it's good to, like, shake it up and not draw those airbrushed, lovely people that don't actually exist in reality. I'm sure someone out there who is just drop dead gorgeous has a wonderful little elvish nose that comes to a lovely little rounded point and is just perfect. But you know what? That's not me, and if it's not me, it's probably not a lot of other people too. 'Cause I'm not that unique in my general existence. I look like a lot of people, and I had this philosophy to start portraying the unidealized and maybe try and broaden the spectrum of what could be beautiful, you know? It's a lofty aspiration for a newbie artist, but there you go. That's what's with the noses. If you don't like the big noses, you should probably leave, because I love you and I would love your support, but you're not gonna like what you see. If you do like the big noses, though, stick around, because it's gonna be fun. And with that, we are out of time, so thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Clockwork the Grim.